Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are having a fantastic day so far. I hope that wherever you are in the world, today has been treating you well. In today's video, back by popular demand, I did this video, I would say around about 6 months ago. I am going to be ranking all of my Cosmic Beauty eyeshadow palettes. Now, like I say, I already did this video around about 6 months ago. Since then, they have brought out 4 more palettes. So I thought it was about time that I redid it. I have some more thoughts. Some of these are in a different order, I do believe, than what I had them in the first time round. And I think you're going to be surprised by my ranking here. So I would absolutely love to know, what do you class as your #1 palette from Cosmic Beauty? And what do you think mine is? Because I think that this is going to surprise you. Genuinely, I think this is going to surprise you. So if you like Cosmic Beauty, if you like UK indie, cruelty-free, affordable makeup reviews, that is exactly what you will find here. I would love it if you would subscribe down below. This whole look is Cosmic Beauty. I posted this a couple of days ago, so if you want to see this whole look, I will leave that linked. I will also link the first version of this video that I posted. I was just watching over it. Did I have a cold? I feel like I was very, very croaky and I had a cold in that video, so it's a little bit annoying to listen to, but if you want to go and watch that, it is there. I have 10 palettes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have got 10 palettes. We're going to be ranking them from my least favourite to my most favourite. And let's just get on into it. So I will start by saying, I just want to absolutely clarify, none of these are bad palettes. This is purely based on the colour story and my personal preferences, because I have preferences when it comes to like colour stories, and that's basically what this comes down to, because all of the formulas are fantastic. The mattes are so beautifully blendable. The duochromes are incredible. The multichromes and the duochromes, honestly, they are just incredible. So like I say, this does just come down to the colour story and my personal preferences. So in at number 10, I feel like this isn't going to be a surprise to anybody. In at number 10 is Sinister. This is the palette that they brought out at Halloween. I do believe that they are now selling these separately, because a lot of people said that they wanted the Sinister palette but they didn't want all of the other stuff that came in the mystery box. I think, don't quote me on it, but I think that they are now selling these separately. So this is number 10 for me. I will say I still love it. I still love and use all of these palettes. I don't just have them collecting dust in my collection, I do use them. So the reason I don't love this palette is because it's very cool toned and it's very dark. Obviously I am a very light-skinned human, and this is like really as dark as I ever go in my eyeshadow. I like a very light, very bright, very colourful eyeshadow look. So this is a palette that I struggle with because I don't really like cool tones, and I like to keep my makeup and my eyeshadow very, very light. So for me, this is just lacking the sort of mid-range. I feel like the darker shades are absolutely there. The lighter shades and like the shimmers are there, but there's a mid-tone sort of section that I feel is lacking a little bit. Like I say, that is just my personal preferences, and it is just the way that I like to do my makeup, because a lot of people will get a lot of use out of this colour story. I like that when I first got this, it absolutely pushed me out of my comfort zone. I've never worn red, and I love the reds in this. I love the, I mean, they don't stain, or they haven't stained on me. Shouldn't be going out and claiming that, because I do believe that this says that you shouldn't use some of these on your eyes. I do, you shouldn't. It does have this cream eyeshadow as well that I'm literally never going to use, because it's just like Vaseline. It's a texture thing. I I can't, okay? I just can't. But I love that this is like grey and purple. It's got a little bit of pink. It's got the red. I live in the purple row mainly when I use this. And I also really, really love this shade up at the top, which is called Eerie. Can you see the dent that I've got in that pan? I love this shade. It's like a cool tone grey, but it's almost like holographic. Like it's got every colour in it. I have used this one so much because it honestly just goes over the top of anything. Like party season, this just went over every single eye look. Like it's just every colour all at once. It's incredible. So that was number 10. In at number 9, this is the Gothic palette. I love purple, but I like wearing multiple colours all at the same time. You really can only do like purple and pink. With this, which if you like purple and pink, go off. Like that is that is what this is. But I like purple and green together, or like teal or blue. Like I love more than one colour in an eyeshadow look. So for me, this does just feel a little bit limiting. I love that this is smaller. I do wish that they would bring out more of these smaller palettes, because I think it's just a slightly more curated collection of colours. Obviously, like you can only get a smaller amount of colours in it, but I love that this is smaller. I love that this still has multichromes, duochromes, and like a good selection of mattes. I do feel like this has got those mid-tones that I was looking for, but like some of the purples, like these two, feel very, very similar. I like that it's got like a bright baby pink. There is still scope within this palette. Like I can create a look just out of this palette, but I do prefer adding in a little bit of another colour. Again, just for how I like to do my makeup. The colour out of this palette that is my favourite, it will be absolutely no surprise to you that most of my favourite colours are going to be the multichromes, because Cosmic just do the multichromes incredibly well. My favourite one is Chosen up here, which is darker, but I feel like it sort of applies and it's not too dark once it's on the eye. Like in the pan, it looks a lot darker. It's got a warmth to it, but it has that purpley pink deliciousness. And yeah, like the multichromes in these palettes are just like you cannot fault them. So in at number 8, we have got Cool Trolls. Again, I'm just not a cool tone girly, okay? I like warm tones and I like colour. I feel like this, if you like cool tones, like obviously if you like cool tones, like this is going to be your palette, but if you like cool tones and you want a little bit of colour that doesn't feel too overwhelming, a little bit of colour so that you can maybe try a blue or you can try a pink, I feel like this will go a really long way in a lot of people's makeup collection. For me, I can't really make a look just out of this because I like adding in warmth, even if I'm using something cool across the eye. Even if I'm doing more of like what you would consider a cool toned eye look, I do still like having a little bit of warmth to like ground it and just make it feel a little bit more comfortable for me. I do feel like you get the mid-tones, you get the darks, you get the lights. There's a few shades in this that I would consider my favourite. Gravitate up at the top, which I guess is sort of similar to that previous one from Gothic, where it's darker but because it's so reflective. So that one is Gravitate, and again, just incredible. But I do also really like, sorry, this writing is very small. I do also really like Reveal, which is like, if I just hold up this pan, this one here, it just looks like a white in the pan, like a white shimmer, but this is more of like a topper. The formula, it is slightly more sheer, but it's got a blue quality to it that I just feel like when it catches the light, I'm really like, if you haven't seen my channel before, I have eczema on my skin and I'm really struggling with it at the minute, so don't mind that. But I just feel like the way that that like catches the light in a very sort of subtle way, that Reveal shade, is one that I get quite a lot of use out of. Then in for number 7 is Winter Wonderland. I will say now we are getting into like all of these I love. All of these are incredible. So Winter Wonderland, one of the first ones that I ever tried. I think this was maybe like the 3rd or 4th one that I ever purchased. All of these I purchased apart from Cool Trolls that I won on a TikTok shop giveaway thing. They don't know that I make content. So Winter Wonderland. This is what I'm talking about when I say that I like a variety of colours in an eyeshadow look. So I can do like teal and purple or like blue and purple. It's basically always something with purple because I love purple. But for me, this is like my perfect purple palette. It's also my perfect like blue or teal palette because I can supplement it with those other shades, with those other colours. It's got the darkest shades. It's got the lightest light shades. There's a few in this that I really like. Obviously Atmosphere, I would say, is similar to these previous two where it's quite dark and it has that like pinky purpley reflect to it. I really like that one, but I would say out of this whole palette, just for something a little bit different, Winter Solstice, this shade here. The way that this shifts, I'm gonna run out of space on my hand, but Winter Solstice is incredible. Okay, I'm gonna have to wipe my hand to do the swatches for the next lot. This is the brightest blue, but the way that it catches the light and it has almost a warm pink orangey undertone again, and because it's lighter, I can just put that all over the lid. I can put it on with like purple on the outer corner and it sort of adapts a little bit. I just feel like it goes over so many different colours. Winter Solstice is something very special. Would I say that a matte is my favourite in this because it's got a dark teal that I think I'm not going to swatch because I'm running out of hands, but this shade here, which is called Showers, if you are like me and you would genuinely just paint your whole house teal, that is the most perfect teal matte eyeshadow. Chef's kiss. It's incredible. So what are we on now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on palette number 6. So just missing out on being in the top 50%, but like in my mind, this is like, these are all incredible. Basically the top 3 I can't separate, so this is up there, is Undergrowth. So I love purple and I love green, okay? I love them together. For me, these two go together hand in hand because these two, I've got everything that I could ever need for a green and purple eyeshadow look, basically. I don't know what it is about green and purple together, but I just love it 100% of the time. So I love that this is warm. We're getting into the warmer shades now. So this has got all of the like warm, toasty, orangey browns with warm greens, but it also has some cool toned greens, which I love because these like minty shades, I just think do like a warm orangey brown, smoky eye, dark, intense brown, warm shades, and then pack on this shade which is called Herbarium, a bright mint green for an inner corner. Like, just stop talking. You've sold me. I'm doing it, okay? Because I think that that would be incredible. I love that this has like 2 pops of like what I would consider like brighter, like what I would use is like a brighter matte inner corner shade, so like Herbarium and Lichen, which is more of like a lime green. This shade here, Marsh, is what I've got like on the inner part of the crease up in here and also under the eye for like a warm, toasty, it's just got everything that I could ever want for a green. What do I think is my favourite in this one? Would it be Undergrowth or would it be Fireflies? I think it would be Fireflies. I don't know why I'm even considering that. Of course it's Fireflies. I have no space. Let me do it down here. So, Undergrowth, I would say if you were more of like a medium to deep skin tone, that would probably be your favourite. But for me, and again, the way I like to do my makeup, I like bright. And that has like a goldeny warm undertone, but it is green. I feel like these aren't showing up as incredible as they are, like the shifts in them, because I've got like so much artificial light in front of me. The shifts aren't necessarily showing up as incredible. Take my word for it. I mean, can you see on my finger there? That's like where I've wiped it. There's no like product. It's just from where I've wiped to get that swatch. It's so beautiful. It's so, so beautiful. Like I say, I really, really like those like brighter matte shades as well. It's got depth, it's got the brighter shades, it's got a really great selection of basically everything in the middle. If you like greens, and if you like warmer, if you're not sure on greens actually, if you like warmer tones and you think you might like the idea of greens, I would absolutely say pick this up. I think are these about £28 each, these palettes, and the quality of them is far above the price tag, let me tell you. So next up we have got, in at number 5, we have got Neutrals. Now, I like colour, but there's just something about the tones in this palette. There's just something about it I really, really love. So obviously it's got like mustards, which I dip into a lot. If I'm using this palette, I will probably be using Icon because it's just the perfect warm yellowy mustardy transition tone that I feel like adapts the rest of the palette to be even warmer. I love warm tones. I am very, very pale and I have blue eyes, so I feel like the warmer tones just really, really suit, you know, my complexion, my colouring and everything. I love the warmer tones on my eyes. There's not a single shade in this palette that I don't use. And I have a favourite by far. Radiant is incredible. It's, again, like I was saying about that one from Winter Wonderland, it's more of like a topper. It just looks white in the pan, and then when you swatch it, this one here, it's so bright orange. I feel like you can't even see. It's so difficult with the lights. You can't even see on camera how incredible that shift is. Sorry, my camera just stopped recording because it could tell that I was rambling. The way that it goes from white to a bright orangey peachy delicious shade, that is by far my favourite. But I do also really, really like Desire, because look at that. It's like the most delicious bronzy foil, and just to prove how smooth this is, I'm going to put this over one of my really, really bad I mean, I probably shouldn't be, but this over where I've got a really, really bad patch of eczema. Look how smooth that is. Like, it's almost so reflective that like you could do your makeup looking into that because it's just so smooth. And again, that shade all over the lid, blended out with Icon. Look, it's basically a one and done. I love a one and done. So in at number 4, we have got Muse. This is a fairly new one to me. I only got this was it like October, November time? I can't quite remember. They did a restock for it. I really love this colour story. This does feel more autumnal to me. It does feel darker, smokier than maybe I like to use every single day, but the brightness, the tones, the brightness of some of these shades, like again, I've just been talking about a mustard shade forever and a day, but Admire through the crease, the shades do lean a little warmer, I feel, so that's why this one is ranking higher, because it's the warmer colours, but they're still sort of darker, more autumnal, more a little bit jewel toned, but I still feel like there's scope. I hope that we get more jewel tones this year, like just from everybody, not just from Cosmic Beauty, because I just love jewel tones, but this is, it's up there, but it doesn't rank as high as the next three. Basically, it's close. It's very close. And again, because it's got greens, pinky purples, this does lean more green than like the next ones that are coming, but I do feel like I can still get that variety in the colours that I'm using. I can still get that sort of two colour look that I like. The shimmers, some of them lean quite dark, but some of them are like what I am always looking for, which is a nice bright shimmer. My favourite one is this one down on the bottom row, which is called Antique. And it's almost like a green and pink shift. Again, it's this sort of toppery shade. I feel like all of these are coming out the same on the swatches. Oh, I've just done that in like the worst place possible, but it's like a dusky rose, and then I feel like in some lights it looks green, and again of course now it's not. I do also really like, so that's what that one looks like, Antique, that one that I just swatched, but I do also really like Inspire for like a very bright, is that a duochrome? No, I think that that's just like a regular shimmer. Let me swatch that one as well. Why not? I'll just do a little micro swatch. That one, very bright, very beautiful. So now we are into the top three, but genuinely I can't separate these three. They are all incredible. They are all absolutely top tier. So first up, out of, if you made me choose, this would be number 3. It's Serenity. This is my Pan That palette for 2025. I am trying to hit pan on 10 shades in this palette. I haven't yet. I have only been doing that 2 weeks, I think, as you're seeing this. So I haven't hit pan on any of these shades yet, but I feel like Serenity is lighter and brighter than Muse. If I pick this up, like this feels spring and Muse feels autumn. Like the shades are similar. The what am I trying to say? Like they're both green, they've both got a little bit of some other colours in them, where Muse feels more autumn and Serenity feels more spring. So this has got some like really fun, bright pops of colour. It's one of the reasons why I picked it, because I love a bright pop of colour. These are the shades that I can just use mindlessly. I don't have to really think about these shades because I use this palette so much. There really is only one shade in this palette that I don't love, and that is Twilight, because it's a dark shimmer. But other than that, 100% of these pans I will dip into like, I will still use Twilight, I will still use it, but it is one that I would have to maybe consider a little bit more before I use it. The other ones, the shimmers, like, it's just incredible. My favourite shade in this one, I will do the swatches on the other hand, but just like eczema. My favourite shade out of this one is Ether, which is basically the same colour as my nails. It is a duochrome, it is a purple, but it shifts to like a really bright baby blue. I will also, while I'm here, just swatch Echo, because that's a matte that I love. It goes very, very well with Ether, so just let me swatch that one too. So that is Echo, and that, no, other way around. That is Ether, and that is Echo. That duochrome. I'm gonna hit pan on that so soon. That's the shimmer that I've got across my lid today, if you were wondering. I am genuinely gonna hit pan on that, like, that will be my first pan to go. I am 100% sure of it, because I've used it so much since I picked that palette as my Pan That palette for 2025. Now, top two. We have got the palette that I chose as my number one when I did this previously, and I have got the palette that I chose as my number one palette for 2024. And it's very close. It is so close, but in at number two, drum roll please, in at number two we have got 'Tis the Season. It pains me to say that this isn't my favourite, but like, it is. I really, genuinely, I can't separate these top three. So this, like I say, this was my favourite palette from 2024. We are only, as I'm filming this, like a week in to 2025, but I still just absolutely love this. Even though this is a Christmas palette, I'm going to be using this all year round, because it's got greens, it's got purples, and that is my reasoning. So it has the variety of different colours. It's got duochromes in each of these rows. It's got the incredible variety of colour, but also the variety of textures within those colours, which I feel like is so key. So I can do a green smoky eye with a purple across the lid. I can do a purple smoky eye with a green across the lid. I can do something pink. I can do something that's like a very neutral, everyday something with the brown row, with this shade which is called Candlelight, that is just the most delicious warm orangey golden duochrome that I feel like anybody with blue eyes needs that shade all across their eyelids and literally nothing else. It's beautiful. We've got Baubles, which is a purple duochrome, so like, say less. We've got Cranberries, that's like similar to these ones, where it's like a darker sort of pinky red shift. Just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely my favourite palette from last year. And now I'm like, is this not my favourite one? Like, genuinely, it's so close. I can't in my mind separate it, but I just think if we're going off longevity of like a theme for me, this one does just come a tiny little hint behind, but like, it's literally, it's that far behind. I don't know what that noise was, but I'm getting overexcited about makeup. So, in at number one, Delicious Delights. Oh, look. It's all of the bright, juicy, summer, neon, but also pastels, and also deeper jewel tones. Oh, did I even mention? I feel like I'm losing my mind. I didn't even swatch any of these. I would actually say that, I want to say that Fairy Lights is my favourite shade. I feel like that's very similar to Ether, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It's a purple shimmer. That is my favourite one. Yeah, I do love that one. I really, really love that one. It is different. I feel like this has almost got like a goldeny pink reflect to it, where Ether goes blue, Fairy Lights goes pink. Yeah, I feel like they're different enough. I would say that Fairy Lights is my favourite. Or Tinsel. I need to stop looking. So, back to Delicious Delights. Just went off on a tangent there. Who is surprised? So, Delicious Delights. Genuinely, just looking at this colour story brings me joy. I love colour. I love a very well curated selection of colour. And I feel like that's what this is. If you like blue, purple, pink and green. And then I've heard people say that they think that like this gingerbread and buttercream, that they feel like they're random, but for me, I can create a look with those and then put like one of the duochromes over the top. And I do, because I love oranges. I love orange because I've got blue eyes. I just feel like it's colour theory. They're on opposite sides of the colour wheel. I love those colours and they do get a lot of use for me in this palette. The blues don't necessarily get too much use. Like, as I'm looking at this, I'm like, I don't use the blues all that much, but they are beautiful. Like Ice Pop, I would say, is quite similar to that one that I swatched out of Serenity. We've got Sprinkles, that again, I feel like is these sort of shades where it's like a red shift. It is beautiful. I do like Frosting. Do I say that that's my favourite one? I do like Frosting. These really aren't swatching incredibly well because my skin is so bad. See, I almost feel like that is going a little bit of a greeny shift. So we've got blue, pink and green, but purple obviously is my vibe. And I just feel like the vibrancy of the colour and the variety in the colour is what brings me a lot of joy. So my camera's flashing at me. I will finish this quickly. I hope that you've had a fantastic day. Did my selection surprise you? I would love to hear what order these would be in for you as well. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.